how long have I been a board member of Edifund? For 5 years, and it's been an interesting 5 years. My largest contribution lies in the area of strategy articulation, issues attendant to marketing, issues attendant to brand management, communication issues, trying to sort of help the board to understand how we can maximize the efficacy of our communication spend, who we should be talking to, and what messages we should be putting out, on what media we should be putting them out on, and ensuring that for the fairly modest marketing budget we have, we get a lot of bang for our buck, if you like. I believe that my skill set complements those of my colleagues in that I am sort of like the lookout person in terms of sales and marketing excellence. So we actually work with the Marketing and Communications Committee as some sort of subcommittee of the board. And our mandate is to ensure that the numbers keep rolling in so that when the finance and audit people sit down, they have something to count at all. Because when sales fails, the mutual fund will fail. I learned long ago in life that you don't do things only for pecuniary gain. And you know, the financial services sector is crucial for the development of Africa. So if I can wake up every morning and say, wow, I contributed to a certain mutual fund in a certain West African country and people's livelihoods were bettered and Ghana's economic agenda was better set on track, I sleep well at night. So my biggest motivation is to be able to come to do my board work and know that in a certain sense I'm contributing to the strengthening of the financial service sector in Africa and consequently to the prosperity of the continent. Boards will typically meet maybe once a quarter, sometimes every 2 months. But you see, those meetings are only useful to the extent that there's an agenda you come and speak to. But in between those meetings, all sorts of things happen, and board members can be called on sporadically to address some issue or the other, or to speak to some issue that has come up that the advice is being sought on. So you typically have a meeting that, a regular meeting would be based on a set agenda. I have a meeting tomorrow for a board I chair, for instance, and the agenda is clear. It's half-year review, and you're going to speak to the figures. You're going to query the CEO for not meeting targets or exceeding targets. You're going to deal with issues of why that organization needs to rebrand itself and so on and so forth. So we work with a set agenda. We typically will take what has happened in the last meeting, deal with them and the matters arising, and then feed those outputs into the meeting we are sitting in at the current time. I think the most crucial takeout of every good board meeting is a certain clarity regarding what to do and who to do and when to do. Because the boards on that I sit on that work very well. That sort of efficacy is totally brilliant. It is very disconcerting to go into a meeting and be told, oh, Prof, you know, last time we said this, you know, you are supposed to have done something, but we didn't hear from you. And I'm thinking, for the life of me, really? But where were the action points? Where was the to-do list? Where was the reminder? And I think, just speaking broadly, boards that are very big on these to-do lists and who follow the what to do, when to do, and who to do formula are boards that perform better at any rate, whether they're in private or public sector institutions. Oh, I think superior corporate governance practices are totally crucial to the effective working of any board. And for boards that work really well, there's a clear divide between the autonomy of the board and what management does. And I think to a very large extent, the Edifund board typifies a board that has that sort of divide. I mean, we have something we call in corporate governance CEO duality, where you have a CEO who's also an executive chair of a board. So there's no delineation between the CEO as management head and the CEO as board head. We don't have that kind of CEO duality challenge at Edifund. So I think the board is fairly autonomous, and there have been several times when management has clashed with the board on certain issues. Sometimes management wins, sometimes the board wins, and that's how good boards should work. There should be a clear separation between their work and what management does. success is when the fund is thriving, when the AGMs are easy to go to because the shareholders are excited about the return that's being achieved on their money. But success also for me is if I'm able to ascertain that by dint of the hard work I do on the board, the management of the institution is strengthened to do their work better, because all said, boards that only focus on rich tea biscuits and tea which is sweetened or unsweetened, but don't bring any real value to what management does in strengthening their marketing capacity, their human capital capacity, their capacity to strengthen their operational procedures, tighten the way they do audit, strengthen their accountancy and finance practices. It is not a board I want to belong to. And success for me is when the management is stronger for their work after I came in comparison to before I arrived. It's the pleasant way I think notes, minutes are taken at the board meeting. And it's very refreshing for me because in the 20 plus years I've worked as practitioner and academic, sometimes I'm a little frustrated about poor note taking in meetings. And when that happens, you find that there's always a struggle to recollect exactly what was said, exactly what the action points were. And that feeds into a certain inability of the board to run as fast as it should. So what has surprised me is the quality of the note taking, minute taking, and how that feeds into a certain clarity on what the board should do and when the board should do it. Pleasant surprise. Oh, but the parsimony of the fees is something that we are working on, but we are building a better Ghana agenda, so everything is on track. Mutual funds speak directly to the scripture that says that wealth gathered little by little is good wealth, because I've been on boards where everything is big, but with mutual funds, it is the careful aggregation of small contributions that makes or break the mutual fund. So mutual funds teach you patience in terms of trying to understand that wealth is built slowly. And because it's built slowly, the investment acumen of the fund managers is totally key in ensuring the success or otherwise of the fund. So my biggest lesson has been that patience matters in wealth accumulation. I just want to encourage them that, I've been doing the work of a marketing practitioner for over 2 decades. First as a practitioner working advertising for 5 years, and the last 16 plus years as an academic. And I can tell Edifund shareholders that they should not only hold on to their shares, but encourage others to come and patronize not just the Edifund, but other Databank fund products, because the parentage of the funds is strong. And Databank is a brand I've known for several years. Interestingly, both as an advertising practitioner and also as an academic. So if the parentage is strong, usually the sub-brands work well as well. So I'd want to take this opportunity to endorse the Databank brand and to say that for Edifund and B Fund and all the other mutual fund adherents and customers, they should have faith. Ghana has been through some really tumultuous financial times, but I've learned by experience that when tough times come, it's the quality of a parentage that matters. If the brand is strong, it will survive the storm, and eventually you come out on the other side with a return that still makes you smile. So keep patronizing Edifund, keep bringing those who matter to also come and patronize the fund, and the future is certainly a bright one with Databank as the parent of the fund.